welcome back to another art process video. Today I am doing a piece called Underwater Adventure, and it's a Studio Ghibli Totoro inspired fan art piece. So today I am painting from my kitchen counter, as it's more convenient for me to hang out and do art with my kids as I'm painting alongside them. So you can see I'm adding plenty of water in my gouache, just watering it down almost like a watercolor consistency, and just painting like a brief background. I feel like the subsequent colors just kind of like stay on the page a lot better after I do an under painting in the beginning. Okay, so here I'm adding in some yellow and it's blending in quite nicely, and I wanted to have that water feel because it is a underwater scene, and I'm going to do all these yellow jellyfishes and coral on the bottom. It's going to be very magical and whimsical. At least that's my goal. And as well, I want some light shining in from the top, just like the light peering through the surface of the water and just like glimmering on the beautiful nature underneath. So that's my goal for the piece. So let's see what happens. I'm also gonna slow down part of the process to let you see how it's actually like when I'm painting like in real time as opposed to our time lapse. A lot of these pieces do take a while to get from the beginning to finish. So if you are a beginner at this and you're painting for the first time, like don't feel despair that like you need to paint as quickly as I do or like exactly as I am, because this took a lot of practice, and the more you practice, the more confident and more comfortable you are going to be with your art medium. Okay, so you can see that like I'm coloring in some of the seaweed, and for you to get details, it's really helpful to paint on dry, because you should probably test it out at some point. The way you use gouache or watercolor when you go wet on wet as opposed to wet on dry, you get very different effects. So you can see that I'm adding a lot of water here and I'm getting this like wet on wet effect. It's very diluted, the colors blend in nicely, whereas like if it was already dry and I paint on top of it, I can get a lot more details, but I don't get that like translucent and nice blending effect. So this piece was like a lot of fun to draw, as I don't think I've drawn like an underwater scene very often. Often I would be like painting clouds and like, so this is kind of opposite, but I thoroughly enjoy the process, and I'll let you enjoy the rest of the video and I'll come back and talk a little bit more about the artwork. So I feel like this piece needed like a hero or a main character, so I decided to paint Totoro in as he's kind of floating and swimming underwater, because like obviously in any of the animes you've seen, like I've never seen Totoro really swim. I thought this would be so cute, and of course he's not swimming alone. It's going to be like a chibi small Totoro character that's swimming alongside him, and I think like it came out really well. Now you can see I'm slowly building in contrast and depth for the piece. In the beginning there was like a lot of like neutral colors. This is the time when I added my shadows and added my light, and the piece really pops from here. So using my soy sauce dish to kind of put my paint on, I honestly use a smaller dish just because it's more convenient, and also I don't use that much paint, and I feel really overwhelmed when I use like a larger palette. Here you can see I'm using a oil pencil to add in some shadows and gradients, and this is one of my favorite parts because I feel like I'm not on a clock for the gouache drying up, and like can really take my time and like slowly blend in those colors and add in highlights. And that's my secret of like having some of my artwork create these like beautiful shades of color and gradient, and that is to use other mixed medias rather than just plain gouache. There's no rule against like using different medias or anything that says you have to stick to just gouache if you're painting gouache. And that's something like I am now accepting, and I'm really embracing and loving using different mediums for my art and incorporating them together. So here you can see I'm using my purple to add in some shadows rather than just black. I feel like using different colors to add in shadow really creates more depth and more interest in the art piece. Now I'm pretty close to being done, but like just adding some light touches here and there. I want to thank you for joining me on this art process video so far. I really enjoyed this piece and I think it came out like really cute. So here is the final product for this piece called Underwater Adventure, a Totoro inspired fan art. Thank you so much for joining me in this video, and if you have gotten this far in the video, I would appreciate it very much if you would consider giving this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for considering, and hopefully I will see you in future videos. Take care and stay creative, everyone. Bye for now.